Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Daily Dose. Dr. Mary,
Yes.
it's our 300th episode.
Yay, we should have dressed up, Laura.
I am dressed up. I'm seasonally dressed.
Oh,
Look,
I'm not.
I'm wearing a deer. There we go.
I look like the back end of a brownie.
But it's not black, so, it's a splash of color.
I look chocolate. There
Yes.
you go. It's seasonal. Seasonal chocolate.
Absolutely. Happy 300 episodes. Wowzers. That's incredible. That's a lot of episodes.
It is, lover. It is.
Yeah. So if you have been watching with us from the beginning, thank you for that. That's really lovely.
Yes, thank you.
So we're talking about something today that I often have made fun of Dr. Mary about. I thought about it a lot while he was drinking. And then we talk about it some now because it's a very different thing. So I will just say that if you only know us from these videos, or if you've only known us for the past 4.5 years, you would be shocked to realize that this man sitting next to me has not always looked like this. In fact, I'm just going to mortify you right here on television and say this. I've known you for 20 years and some months, and you've never looked as good as you look now.
Oh.
You were in your early 30s when I first met you. To be fair, the very first time I ever saw Maz, he had just gotten back from a flight from France, so he was tired. But, you were kind of pasty and had that kind of non-American thing going for you in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I will just give myself some credit for, fixing you up a little bit.
A diamond in the rough, I think is the phrase you're looking for.
Yes, but the bottom line is that Maz looked kind of like this when I met him. And then over time and with drinking, he ended up looking like this. So,
to be fair, that's a good picture.
What, this one?
Yeah, that's a good picture.
No, so yeah, that's true. So that picture, I think, is from 2016, which was, just months before he got sober. Here's what I used to say or think to myself, because I would never have said this to his face because it's not flattering. Maz looked like a waterbed. His skin was like puffy. There was like he had way too much fluid in his body. And I never understood it. So I asked Dr. Mary if he would give us some science behind why so many people who drink end up looking puffy and like there's way too much inside their body. So Dr. Mary, take it away. I'll go back to just us and then we can go back to that picture if you want to.
Oh, can we?
Yeah, that's true. It's not a great picture.
All right. So if you're thinking about short-term effects, so it is the Christmas season, and people like to go to Christmas parties, and sometimes they drink a little too much. It doesn't mean they're an alcoholic, but a lot of people look red and bloated, and your eyes are bloodshot in the morning.
Oh, and kind of puffy. You're
and
right.
They do look kind of puffy, but that is only because at this stage of drinking alcohol, it's only acting as a dehydrant or dehydrant, depending on how you want to pronounce it.
You said it exactly the same way both ways.
Did I?
Yeah. Anyway.
So you get dehydrated and your body acts, so the salt in your blood body fluids gets more concentrated because your water has been soaked up by the alcohol and you've actually urinated it out during the course of the eating. So you actually are dehydrated.
So in my mind, if you're dehydrated, you should look like a raisin, not a plumpy grape.
Good question. I'm getting to that
Thank you.
bit. So your body reacts by releasing water from your body tissue fluids, your lymph nodes, and your actual blood plasma. So that leaches out of your blood vessels and inflates your skin tissue. So temporarily you look bloated.
That's if you've just been out the night before and had too much to drink.
You could even consider a healthy night of
social drinking.
Drinking.
Okay.
Usually during your sleep, your body chemistry and your liver can deal with that. So when you wake up in the morning, you go back to actually looking generally okay.
Sure.
Your eyes might be a little bloodshot because alcohol is an inflammatory. So the capillaries in your eyes widen, so more blood goes through them. But at this stage, again, it's only temporary, so they will contract back to their original size.
Just to translate, those are capillaries for people who were born in America. I just like to keep it, so nobody's caught up in, wait, what's a capillary? A capillary.
Maybe next time you can come and translate in my biology class
students.
next semester.
Okay, so, all right, so that's temporary physical symptoms of a night of excess drinking. Why did you look like this all the time?
All right, so two things happen when you drink alcohol. Well, all right, let's call it. When you become an alcoholic, many things happen, but two of the most noticeable ones for what we were discussing here of looking like a waterbed, is you get or develop gastritis, which is an inflammation of your stomach lining. So a protein is produced actually to protect your stomach lining, and it actually has its roots in its biochemistry from your liver. And I'm coming back, the liver does a lot of things. So your stomach expands and it releases extra fluid, usually to help protect itself. But that fluid has to go somewhere. It goes into your body cavity and it pushes against all your internal organs and your skin and pushes it all outwards.
Oh.
Also, it's because even without...
Wait, I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
Yes.
How does it leave your stomach and go into your body cavity? Now I'm just imagining a turkey. How does it do that?
Because the membranes around all of your cells are semi-permeable, and water and small protein molecules are small enough to be pushed if there's enough force out of the plasma membrane. And they can leave your bladder and your kidneys because some parts of the cell have a specialized plasma membranes that are biochemically different to allow the more water movement with ease, like your bladder and your kidneys. Because water and alcohol are the two things that can actually be absorbed directly from your stomach lining because it's both small molecules, so they can leave and come in very quickly.
Oh,
so
that's how you can drink and get drunk so quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gosh, I don't know any of this.
So your liver goes into overdrive to deal with that. So at early stages of alcoholism, you'll get this waxing and waning where it comes and goes, but then it sets in because your liver's maxed out, and then your liver is also getting damaged. So your liver makes a protein called albumin, which is a very small protein. It's very simple. And it's reasonably water soluble. So that flows through your lymph nodes and everything and tries to deal with this damage. But when your liver is damaged, the levels of that production drop drastically. They're produced on the outer layers of your liver. Now, actually, this protein is, its biochemistry, it has a cofactor, in other words, something that makes it work. And that's vitamin B1.
Vitamin B1.
Which is vital for liver function, but it is destroyed by excess alcohol. B1 is also the vitamin or vitamin that allows the neurochemistry of your brain to lay down memories. So lack of that and lack of a production of albumin leads to the blackout and not being able to remember what you're doing because it's not being laid down as a neurological pathway in your brain. Which is why people who suffer from alcoholism usually say the same thing over and over again because they literally can't remember they've said it.
Wow, which you did a lot of.
Yeah. So that albumin keeps fluid in blood vessels. So it actually negates that first symptom I just talked.
Albumin's a protein?
It's a protein.
Okay.
Without that, your body just flushes things out. There's nothing to stop stuff leaving your lymph nodes, which makes your body swell up. There's nothing to help to stop fluids leaving your capillaries or your veins or your arteries or your arterioles or your venules or every part of your circulatory system.
All the little tree guys.
So your body swells up.
Is that the same thing that happens with cancer patients going through
Yep.
treatment?
Because
And is that because they've removed so many lymph nodes
no,
often?
because
Or
because with cancer patients with chemotherapy, your liver is trying to break down all the byproducts of the chemotherapy, and it does exactly the same thing. It sends it into overdrive. It actually does damage your liver. Now, your liver is the only organ in your body that can regenerate itself to a certain point. So if you stop and get treatment for alcoholism early enough, your liver can recover to a certain extent. It depends on biochemistry. Depends on it. If you want me to be blatantly honest,
please be brutally honest.
It depends how lucky you are as well.
Yeah.
Because you can get your liver can be damaged to the point where it'll actually form scar tissue. And that scar tissue can't perform the functions of a liver. So all this ability to store vitamin B1, B2, niacin, zinc, all of these are required for liver function. The scar tissue can't absorb them from what you eat. So the damage to your liver becomes permanent.
This is very depressing, Dr. Mary.
Now, all those vitamins, B1, B2, niacin, zinc, they're all involved in skin formation and water retention too. So when that goes haywire, your skin gets less healthy. It starts to age and you get crack lines around your mouth and the areas around your nose. Anything that should be hydrated around your nasal cavity dries out and cracks, and infections set in. So you always get this permanent redness around certain areas. Your eyelids, around your nose. That's why the nose, you get a puffy red nose as well.
So that's probably what was wrong with that woman we saw in San Diego, who was clearly homeless, clearly suffering from some sort of really terrible addiction. She looked like she had, when you see little kids, when you live in the Great Plains in the middle of winter, who just have that terribly cracked, dry skin because they've been outside and their cheeks are all frozen and cold and red and dry. That's what she looked like, and we were in San Diego. So it was not winter wind burn. It was addiction. Well, Dr. Mary, I don't ask you this very often because we don't have these sort of biology conversations very often. Thank you for doing that research, by the way. It's both good to know and horrifying and terribly sad, actually. But how does that make you feel when you realize that you did this to your body? You didn't set out to look like this, but you became like this. What's your reflection on that now? And maybe the pre-question is, what did you think of yourself when you looked like this?
Oh, I was aware partly that it was happening. I was quite sad, but I decided that was then my lot in life because I'd become this. So I felt like I didn't deserve to do anything about it.
Without going into,
and that's quite common with, that's just not me trying to sound like that. That's a mindset that almost every addict has. They at some point they get to the point where they just think, well, I had my chance and I ruined it, and they kind of give up. Without
going into intimate details, I have a very clear memory of probably January of 2017, so weeks before this all changed. You came into the bedroom and you just had a towel on. You were coming out of the shower. And I was revolted. It's the only word I can use. I was revolted by what had happened to your body. You were blotchy. You had scabs all over. You were bruised. You were so fat with puffiness that didn't make any sense to who you were, what you were eating. And of course, I knew none of the science around any of this. And I just remember thinking, how in the world am I going to live the rest of my life with this man? And that doesn't begin to discuss the smell and all the other things that go along with this. If you've not lived with someone addicted to a substance and watched their body desperately trying to evict it from its self, you can't fathom what this is like. It's pretty terrible in one way. And then of course there's all these other ways that it's also terrible. Wow, this is very sad. I think sometimes knowing the reality behind addiction, the science behind this,
a lot of it,
makes
a lot
it
of that,
worse.
a lot of that weight gain is through fluid retention. But because I read somewhere, and I couldn't find a scientific reference to prove this, but it was on they were quoting some online encyclopedia, so I don't know if this is true, but I found four times I found this quote that a gin and tonic has the same amount of sugar as a hamburger and fries.
Sugar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is, quite calorific. So, it's the calories as well. So you're just
Well,
piling-
there's a reason you call it a beer gut.
yeah.
I mean, that weight looks
And
unlike
of
any
course,
other kind of
alcohol
weight.
makes you hungry as well. So there's
Well,
that.
I'll just say this. You look amazing today, Dr. Mary.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so grateful for that from a sort of shallow physical perspective. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to not look at you and be revolted.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad we got over that one too.
But, and this is the important piece. And I wrote this yesterday when I posted this picture. What's most amazing is that the physical symptoms that presented themselves in this very plumpy waterbed way were the manifestation of all the other problems. And when that went away, so did all of the other problems. And of course, I am most grateful that your great big brain and your really gentle, loving heart also recovered.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, can I just say to anybody watching this who is today where Maz was in that mindset of, well, this is the choice I've made and I don't deserve any better. Yes, you
Yes,
do.
I actually I had the great pleasure of talking at Prairie St. John on Veterans Day, and I made sure everyone knew that. I got some nods.
You
It's important to know
absolutely
that.
do deserve to feel, to look, and to be better. You deserve it. Your family deserves it. Everybody in your life deserves it, but mostly you deserve it. Whatever bad choices you've made, get in line. Get in line. We've all made bad choices. This is not your lot in life. You do not deserve to drink yourself to death.
A very intelligent human being once said, one of his many quotes that he doesn't get the credit for saying intelligent things, is that he said that growing old gracefully is your reward for making bad choices, but learning from them, and growing old turns you into the person you should have been all along.
Who was that?
David Bowie.
Oh, David Bowie. That's a nice quote. Not a David Bowie fan, but it's a very nice quote.
It is a great
Yes,
quote.
it is.
And this guy should know it. He used to hit it hard, and he recovered. He got himself back on track.
Yeah.
Of course, he
No, we don't have time to go into
his
David
life
Bowie's
was cut short with
retrospective.
cancer, but
Yes.
he was a survivor.
Yes. All right. If you feel like you look like a waterbed, you probably look like a waterbed. And I'm not going to say to you, it's as easy as stopping drinking, because I
It's
know
not.
that it's not easy. And I'm not the one who had to go through it. It's not easy,
It is not.
but it's worth it, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
Yes, it's worth it. Get the help. Reach out to us if you don't know where to start. We will help you find the help that you need so that you can be the person you should be. Have a great Tuesday.
Have a great day.
We'll see you on Thursday with a brand new to us guest. We're excited to talk to
Ooh,
her, and
excellent.
we will see you then. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.